2024 was a year like no other to be a Torquay United fan. We experienced everything. We experienced the anger, the frustration, the despair. It's so hard to keep going, and I don't want to support this regime anymore. The worry, the pride, and then the joy. It's so easy to forget everything that happened this year. So to document this, me and Tom have put together something special from all your photos, videos, and of course clips from the goals I view throughout the year. So sit back and enjoy.
The year started in frustration for the goals. A disappointing 2-2 draw against Eastbourne was followed up by a pathetic exit in the FA Trophy as the goals limped out of the competition after a 2-0 defeat away to Hereford. Frustrations finally boiled over within the fan base as pressure mounted on Gary Johnson as the goals form dipped during the month.
Another disappointing week of being a Torquay United fan, and we're all here for it. As far away as you can be from one club, United.
I think what got to was just the whole atmosphere around the ground was just so apathetic. Before the game, during the game, and I just thought to myself, there's so much you could do with this club. And there's just the life has been sucked out of match days there. They don't do anything soulless in terms of the match day experience, which is a different conversation. But I just thought the whole experience is just lifeless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yet again, what was on the pitch was just so poor. I mean, those players are out on the pitch representing the club. I mean, 5 or 6 of them shouldn't be anywhere near.
Try and be positive, I think to myself, right? Be positive, try and will them on, which I always try and do. But mistake after mistake and just such simple errors.
There's some stupid, pathetic excuse of a defence on every goal. I've never seen a defence be such a poor unit.
And it all got rather nasty on the terraces, sadly. Again, I would say 99% of people there were firmly in the Gary out club. You know, watching him from the opposite side of the pitch, he doesn't do anything, lads. Aaron Downs does all the talking. Aaron Downs does all. He does all the talking. He, positions everyone. And he just stands there, doesn't do anything. And how much further can you let this go? The owners clearly don't give a damn. They can't do. What do they see? What's on the pitch and think that's good enough?
Tensions would continue to mount. Gary Johnson would hit back at fans and the local press, which would lead to one of the first goals I view rants of the year. Why are we making this divide around our football club? Why is there a divide? Why can't it just be right? It's been bad. Let's come together. Don't make a clickbait article and put it online. Is it the fans' fault or all the negativity? Because were you actually at the games? If a football player can't have a bit of, I understand, no personal abuse, but if a football player can't handle, what are you doing when they can see the penalty or something like that? The game's not for them. And if Gary Johnson's an outing a player for being affected by that, that's not very good man management either, in my opinion.
We don't want it to be us as fans for everyone else at the football club and around the football club.
We should be together.
We're all supporters. We all want the football club to succeed. And what seems to have been missed completely in the media the last few years is we have failed and we have dropped down back into the National League South, which for us as a football club, we thought certainly from a fan's perspective, we thought we'd never be back in the National League South. That was the remit when Gary Johnson came in back in 2018, was to get us out of the National League South and for us to never return and never look back. And yet we're back in the National League South, and ultimately the standards this season have not, we haven't hit the high standards that we've hoped for this season. I get it. Again, they want to stay close with Gary Johnson, but ultimately they're not reporting on the failures at this football club, and the failures come down to him. He is accountable for our downfall.
It's sad. I don't like it. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. I don't like going and playing more. There's a certain bit of anxiety in my mind about going and playing more. I didn't go until last minute again at the weekends. It's just because I've got a season ticket and it's my football club. But certain things that's put me off going. I just don't feel welcome. And when you're just reading this in the Devon Live, do you think fans are like Reading and all that? Do you think local news would slag their fans off like that? We're your customers. The fans are what keeps Gary Johnson, the local press in the job. If we stop going, they don't have a football club. You don't have a football club to write about. I'm totally behind part of the message that you put in our article about let's keep together. Do it in a different way, honestly.
It's our escape. For me. It's been my social life for 20 odd years. I live down in Sussex, 15 minutes from Worthing, but I've got a lot of friends down in the West Country. I've got family in the West Country. So Torquay United means an awful lot to me, and to see it where it is now, that's why I refuse to accept the standards that we're set at the moment. Things wouldn't improve, however, as the fallout between fans and management continued. The goals limped to a 1-1 draw away at Chippenham before an embarrassing 4-2 defeat away at Worthing signalled more fan tension and more anger towards Gary Johnson and ownership of the club.
Oh my God, we'll go for it more. But those, can I just say now, the 4 goals were conceded from the goalkeeper and the defence point of view, I'm just shocked. It's in how the owners and the local press, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. This is not my community anymore. It's not my football club anymore. And it's very sad, and I don't really want to see it like this. It's just for me, it's just like it's almost like it's an unhealthy relationship now. Really, you go there, it's a toxic environment. You're not appreciated. It's really damaging. It's so hard to keep going, and I don't want to support this regime anymore. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
It's job to do something about this. When you own a football club, when you run a business, when you own a business, it is your job to do something about this. Football is unique, of course it is, because it's about results. It's not about making fans happy, but it is, because people turn up to support the team to see them win, don't they? But they turn up to support the team. But none of that is happening. None of it, all the fractures, fan base, none of it is happening. And at what point does somebody think, actually, we probably need to do something about this?
Hate is such a strong word, but I've just fallen out of love with Torquay United Football Club.
Yeah, it's not, George Edwards and all of you, like, you have ruined this football club. I don't know what you're setting out to achieve. A lot of people have suspicions, but you have ruined this football club, and Gary Johnson, you're now part of the problem.
Yeah, as I said to Gary Johnson at some point during the second half, when he was giving it a bit to the fans, it's not Gary Johnson Football Club, it's Torquay United Football Club, mate.
Yeah, but he cares as much as us, remember?
Rubbish. I just don't want to go to games anymore with Gary Johnson in charge.
But see a local community like Buckland or something like that, honestly, just feel for it again. Find out what football was really about, what made me got into football in the first place. Really. The year was continuing to get worse. Protests at games, the fans had had enough. The place was toxic. This was shown in a 4-0 home defeat to St Albans, where the fans finally started to unite together.
Rachel tweets and says, I've been fed up for a few years with the current coaching regime. Relegation was bad. This regional football standard is worse, with some truly stultifying performances. 10 years as a season ticket holder, this will be my last. We've got Lee TUSC, who says he is done with Clark Osborne, George Edwards and Gary Johnson axis of evil. He'll do the away games only from now on until there is a complete change of owners and management. Ticket holder, gonna go and just hope that the team shows up. He can't believe where this club is going with the owners and management. He thinks it'll be a toxic environment if we concede early again. Pete Milford says he cannot face being disappointed yet again. The club is dying on its feet. The fact we still get decent gates amazes him. He very much doubts that he'll go, but he won't say definitely not. He's been a season ticket holder until 2022. Leon Harper says, I won't be attending. I usually travel quite regularly from my home, which is 100 miles away. But actually, why should I bother spending most of my salary every week on watching my team when, quite frankly, the board and manager couldn't give a damn? James Bailey says, hi, guys. I took my boys last week for their first games. After 40 minutes, they said it was rubbish and wanted to go. Welcome to Torquay United, I must say.
Yeah, this is our community. This is everything. This is what we're part of. This is our escape. And to sort of dice it in the hands and disrespect us and then put blame in other places, you should really look on, and should
when
really...
you've got a manager.
Stop doing the them and us approach. This isn't them and us. We should be
absolutely not.
We
all want the same thing.
We want to help. We want to praise you if you can, but
yeah,
we all want to be One Club United. We do.
We do want to be One Club United.
But
we're the furthest you'll ever be from One Club United. Is the ironic thing of all that, and you know that probably.
Since that One Club United, we've won once since then and fallen from second down to 9th. After another defeat on the road to Maidstone, things came to a head at Plainmoor, where Torquay United, in front of less than 1,800 fans, fell to a last-minute goal in a humiliating 4-3 defeat against Slough Town. It would signal more protests from the fans and the club going into lockdown, as fans finally had enough.
Unfortunately, we have to talk about this football club for another sort of 20 minutes, half an hour.
We've got to be relentless, haven't we?
Yeah,
got to keep going.
No, a lot of it for me, I just feel like I want to almost like hide away from what's happening with this football club. But of course, we are a voice. We appreciate that, and we are a voice for all fans as well. What is happening in this football club?
Well, it's happening behind the scenes. That's
Yeah,
what we want to know.
what is happening? Which means Gary Johnson is still here on a football sense, on a human sense. Why is Gary Johnson ruining his reputation? It's going to be his last job, most probably. He's had an amazing career in football. I know it's always had the same sort of path. It starts great and very well, but a lot of managers do that. But why? What is causing this to keep going on and on and on? And how does a chief executive of a football club look at this and go, Christ, we were doing really well here?
How do they look themselves in the mirror at the moment? Do they look themselves in the mirror and go, this is fine, this will come good?
It's like that meme, isn't it, with the fire in the background?
Yeah. Are they that blind to it all that they think, oh, it'll come good eventually? Just keep on ploughing on, guys. Keep on ploughing on.
To work, I could literally meet. Obviously, it wouldn't work like that. I would literally like to meet with the people there and say, these are my suggestions. That's all it should be. Because my suggestions would be, right, here's how you repair the football club short term. You just relate to the fans a little bit properly. Go, right, this has been terrible. We are very sorry, and we actually generally appreciate what you were doing. This has been a disaster. We should be a Football League club. We shouldn't be in the National League, but we are in the National League. And actually, this is probably where the football club is now. This has been a disaster. We're 11th place. We understand why you're angry, but please, now for the end of the season, right, if they come out and did this and just, right, let's come together, we're going to give it a big go, and if that doesn't work, we'll look elsewhere at the end of the season. They won't do this, of course, but that's how, even if it's just fake lies, that's how you could actually try and get some sort of fan respect back. Stop making it us versus you, Torquay United Football Club.
Yeah.
And stop using...
They're preaching one club United, but it doesn't feel like that.
Since that, the club has absolutely fallen apart since that fans forum. The pressure continued to build on everyone at the club. A 1-0 defeat at Braintree, who had 10 men for the majority of the game, but a 0-0 draw at Farnborough signalled an important turning point in Torquay's history. Yellow cards were handed out in preparations for Saturday's protest against the board.
Many people will join in the protest, a peaceful protest, I must add.
No, this is not at all linked to any sort of thuggery. None of the aims from the TUS, obviously speaking on behalf of ourselves, not the TUS, but no one wants, everyone just wants to be peaceful about this. Protest does not mean flares on the pitch. It does not mean violence at all. And I hope the people that are against any kind of protests understand that. And I also hope that people who are taking part of the protests, we will just enjoy the game. That's fine. I will actually be coming back to play more. My 2-game hiatus has ended. Well, I've paid my season ticket, I suppose, and it's not going to make a difference now. But just because I want to support the football club whilst I still can, and the TUS, of course, and everything like this. 20 years ago today, when we filmed this, Torquay United won 1-0 at Hull City in League Two. Leroy Rossini was manager. Liam Rossini didn't play that day, but I believe he came in later. We got promoted to League One 20 years ago. 20 years later, Hull City in the top 6 under Liam Rossini, fighting to get into the Premier League. We know where we are. It's tough. It gets tougher every week, to be honest. I don't like being someone who constantly has to moan in my life, believe it or not. But here we are. I hope everyone enjoys the weekend and will get behind everything.
On the Wednesday, we uploaded the episode you just saw. However, just an hour later, news filtered through from Playmore of something much more serious. The history of our football club was at serious risk, as Clark Osborne announced he would be pulling the funding from Torquay United, and that Torquay United would soon be entered into administration.
Hello and welcome to this emergency broadcast of the Goals Eye View. I mean, the news out of the football club could change so quickly. I've gone from, as we've all said on here, I'm so upset a lot of today, and I still am, to then having a bit of hope that actually something might happen, and it's got to get worse before it gets better. But I don't know if I'm just riding on a bit of a hopeful wave that I've seen the fan base that I've missed being United become United again, and the reminder of how magical this community is. It's all a really mix of emotions right now. We all say our bits. My bit is this amazing football club can't go. It's been the community for all of us for so long. There's all these lovely photos of all of us we've been putting online of like our first Torquay game and that, and all the family members that are with us and not with us that we've gone to these football games with. This is our community, and this is what we've been saying on here for many, many weeks and months now. You know, we knew this was probably going to happen, something like this. Did we expect to be so quickly now? No, but this is where we are now. It was going to happen at some point. Let's be honest. Then we all agree.
That's it. We sold our soul to a guy who's got no loyalty to the club, really, is he? He's not a supporter. So we all knew this could happen. It's just how it's happened, isn't it? We kind of you kind of expect kind of some kind of build up, you know. Oh, we're going to sell the club. There's going to be a bit of a time, you know, something's going to happen. But it's now, isn't it? So it's time to unite. Time to get going.
This was going to happen one way or another, and I just feel something somewhere is going to get sorted. I just want my football club to be supporting and looking forward, and I am actually looking forward to playing more in a weird way. It's going to be really emotional on Saturday.
Let's be honest, he was hanging around for a payday anyway, wasn't he, Gary Johnson? He can say all he wants about being, oh, I'm a supporter, I'll stick with the club. Yeah, right. He was just waiting around, wasn't he? Just wasting.
I mean, Gary Johnson.
Somebody on our forum said he was wasting our resources, and that's exactly how I see it.
I agree, Tom.
Very disappointing.
I agree.
You felt that on the forum, didn't you? Because it was this cozy group of people all looking after each other, and you could feel trouble arising because any club would have sacked him.
Really, I think the way the whole thing happened was odd. You know, we went from Gaffer's presses out. Oh, great, we get to listen to that again, and people to act. I mean, why did they let him do that? Because he
really didn't know, did he at all?
He didn't know.
What's coming. So why would you put him through that for a start? To then say, oh, by the way, because within 6 hours of that going out online, he's gone. So that seems odd.
Yeah.
I think the fact we've all feared Osborne pulling his money out, haven't we? But the fact that he's trying to put the club to administration, I think, is interesting because there's a couple of unanswered questions from his statements that I would have. What's happened in the last 5 weeks which have changed his financial situation?
Is it the stadium? Not
it must be to do with the stadium, but that would even if they'd have sold him Plainmoor and he was building it, that would have still been years away. Yeah. So what's changed that's led
Has
to
the council been digging their heels in stronger and he's just given up on it, I think.
Absolutely, but you don't need us into administration to do that. You can walk away. So the fact he's put it into administration would suggest he's in pretty major financial trouble.
It's sad. It's a sad day for the club. It's a sad day for the fans. Gary Johnson, you know, we finally got our wish, he's gone, but of course you'd rather it not be in these circumstances. But I think it was very telling in his statement that he didn't thank the fans at all in any capacity, which just told me everything, to be honest, about him. His legacy in my eyes is completely tarnished. I can't even look back at the good times. He outstayed his welcome, and ultimately he just checked out, didn't he? I guess cautiously positive. I know it sounds silly at the, you know, where we are at this moment, but just feel like we've got our club back in a way. The fans, I know it sounds completely ridiculous right now towards the owner. We had that newspaper article that came out this morning, which was very well written.
Yeah, that seems like days ago now.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that soon after that, Osborne got to play more and decided to cut things there. This club will always be ours. And this club, I do believe, will continue in some capacity, whether it will be as Torquay United as we know it now, whether it will be a Phoenix club. I just look forward now. Get to play more on Saturday. Show your support for your team.
Yeah, can't wait.
Downs, get behind Aaron Downs. I know he's had a lot of stick this season, and rightfully so. He gets the tiniest bit of credit for coming over and taking the flak from the fans week in, week out, apologising for the rubbish that Gary Johnson put on the pitch there. In a way now, we are one club united, aren't we? The fans are going to come together better than ever. We will get through this, Yellow Army. We are going to get through this.
Fight for it, won't we, lads? We'll be there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of big fan base. We're ex-league club. We could still be that again, but it could take time. And we just got to do our best. That's all we can do, isn't it? And just keep going.
One big final message. It's in the description of our videos every week. Join the Torquay United Supporters Trust.
Let's make sure, guys, that we look back on today in the future as the moment that our club changed for the better. We are going to have to go through some tough times now, but we are strong enough united to get through it. So just get there Saturday, guys and girls. Support the team. We'll get through this. This is Torquay United. We don't give up easily. Look at our history. We always put up a fight. Fight for your club. Fight for our club. Let's make this club ours. Come on, the goals.
There's your outro. Cheers, Tom. Rob my starlight. The next few days will just be a ridiculous roller coaster. From a Talkie Talk point of view, I ended up on local TV. I ended up on national radio. It was a ridiculous time. We were finally starting to see unity around our football club. Of course, the future of our football club was still in such big danger. However, we had our first game back, and even though Torquay blew a 2-0 lead, it was still a positive day all around.
Good evening. How are you, Mr. Celebrity? Are you
fine. Joined by Chris.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you still spoke to us, Sam. Sorry,
no, it's just a warm-up gig. Right.
You might be leaving us behind now, but
where do we start from here?
So the Facebook question was, what makes this football club so special to you? We've got Steve George, who says, for me, it's the 3 generations of supporters, new friends that we've made along the way. It's getting up and going to an evening game when I was younger, missing school to go to some away games midweek. This club is just something special, and it hooks you straight away, and you'll just fall in love with it. Harry Locke says, this is what makes it special. Each and every fan who comes along to support a team that may not exist in a few weeks in the 6th tier of English football, having not seen us win since Dover, this silly little football club, Bryn the dog, Ashton Gate, Kevin Hill's cheeky goal, Will Goodwin in the 95th minute, missing out on Man United in the FA Cup, Leroy in charge for 10 minutes, the fastest ever own goal. Wouldn't change a single thing about this place. And he's put a picture of the pop side in unison from Saturday, which is beautiful to see. So thank you very much, Harry, for that. James Bailey says, for me, it's this picture. It's 3 generations of his family. It's also all the people he's made friends with over the years, the memories I share with friends from 20 years ago. Whether it's waiting on Stevenage's results to stay in the league, the heartache of Orient and then the playoff final, the Barnet game, Southend, being that underdog and getting results at the likes of Hull, Sheffield Wednesday, Huddersfield, the pain of Colchester away, the great revival with Fiat and Buckle, and battling away under Nico. Even the first 3 years of Gary's era, Coverland's goal, and the amount of last-minute winners. Too much history exists to let it die, because someone couldn't get the land. Whoever comes in needs to either be honest or tell us it's going to be a struggle or promise something, i.e. funding for promotion to keep the future of this club alive. We asked, what would you like to see the top 3 priorities for them to be for Torquay United Football Club from a fan's view? A lot of engagement again on this one. And again, thank you to everyone who has put their views across. So we'll start with the Torquay Groundhopper, who says, number 1, honesty, integrity and open communication with supporters. 2, to rebuild links with the local community, support local business and foster links with the local clubs. And 3, to invest in all areas of the club, build the first team, but also the youth section and the women's team. We've got Mark Hurst, who says, ensure that there are never any questions about their motives, to engage with the fan base in such a way that parting with our hard-earned cash isn't a chore. Alan Wills says, 1, make better use of the existing stadium facilities to help ensure sustainability and to improve the matchday experience. 2, to provide a spark to boost the playing side and bring better performances and results, for example, better manager and players. And 3, to involve fans and the wider community.
Some good stuff within there. There's so much you could do. I'm not buying this. Oh, you need to get rid of it. I've just said you could get a multi-purpose, build it then. You know, I'm not falling for it. I'm not having it. Like, you could do so much for Playmore and make it such a special play, and a bit for away fans as well. So you look at what Dorking do. You know, look what, you know, of course I mentioned Dorking. Look what many football clubs do. You know, with local businesses, we go, right, here's a load of money. Go and put it in that bar. You know, so much you could do to make it memorable.
Be open to new ideas.
I'm not having all this stuff we've heard that we can't be sustainable without all this. Not at all.
I get to chauffeur Dom on Saturday as well, which is going to be exciting.
I might be getting a lift with Tony, who sits next to us, Chris.
The Goals' first away trip since the news was a trip to Dorset, as the Goals flocked in numbers to Weymouth. The Terrors put on a fantastic gesture, donating £5 of every adult ticket to be donated to the Torquay United Supporters Trust, where the money would be placed back into the club during these troubling times. A 1-1 draw in front of a packed away end signals that Torquay United fans have belief that good was just round the corner.
We beat Dartford 4-1, but then the optimism started to fade and worry set in. An embarrassing 3-0 defeat at home to Taunton, and then the inevitable 10-point penalty meant Torquay are now faced with a prospect of a relegation battle on their hands. All going a bit wrong. I think it's fair to say, before we go into it, that a lot of us Torquay fans right now, especially with today's, and I knew that news was coming. I just saw the 10 points. We all knew it was coming, but I think with last night's result and the fact it all seems to be a little bit quiet, I know these things take time. Something doesn't feel right. Well, there's something about the team when I saw them play last night and the club. Something just felt a bit, it's all that kind of optimism we had and that kind of euphoria of it all, maybe possibly getting away from all this mess long term, kind of seems to be fading. It's just gone into quite a lot of worry. I went from being really worried to, this is going to be right, and now I feel really worried again. Plus the 10 points, it was going to happen. Now, if the football club was run properly, if Gary Johnson had built a different style team, and they've done better, we could have just been in mid-table now, and that'd be fine. Right now, we are now in a relegation battle, something that Torquay United love to be attracted to, of course. Mid-table, no. Let's have 10 points off.
Mid-table's boring. Leave that for the Hemmels of this world and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, let's challenge ourselves. I want a back four, flat, just there. They can link a few passes. That means we can make easy triangles between central midfield.
We went on air. My concern, and I totally agree, we should have enough in this squad. I said to my dad last night coming home that team's better than that. Those players on that pitch are better than that performance.
They've let themselves down.
But the only thing that's worrying me now, given that we know where we are now, and I'm relatively relaxed about this points deduction today, in that we knew it was coming, no surprises. So I've been looking at the league table -10 ever since, in the last 3 weeks. But my worry is we've got 9 games left, 6 are away. So 2/3 of our games left are away from home. And our away form has been pretty terrible all season.
Back four, built from basics.
But we're going to have to find a way to win some games. I think probably 3 wins, maybe 4 would be enough. But we're going to have to go to all of these games. I've got fixtures in front of me. We got away games at Tonbridge, Yeovil, Welling, Bath, Taunton.
The girls were humiliated on the road once more, this time losing 4-1 away at Tunbridge Angels. With old faces still not moving on, frustrations laid bare both on and off the pitch, a fan base still concerned about the future of their club. Torquay needed to bounce back and needed to do so quickly.
Where the attitudes need to change, where it's not, we've got a false position, we've got minus 10 points. No, we are, without whatever was going on, we are one of the worst teams in the league right now. We've won, 2-14? We are, in that record, we could actually be the worst team in the league. Maybe Dover's got more points than us. I'm not too sure. Someone will have to go and check that. And that simply is not good enough on any of these, and they need to change that. I'm sick of this kind of, I know this we say about 3-5-2, but there's nothing. I'm really happy we've got Robbie Hero in, really praised down to that move. I praised down as a bloke through the whole of this as well, just the way he handles the situation, but tactically and the end of the day, this is a big chance for him to prove
old habits die hard, don't they?
And this has not changed enough. He's tried to go 3-5-2 in a big quote, and I think Dave Thomas says it a lot, and a lot of people says, you play your way to promotion, you fight your way out of relegation. We are in a relegation battle now. It's not time to start showing that you want to play progressive football out the back, because we don't have the players for it anyway. At the moment, the players aren't ready and that confidence. They haven't had the whole pre-season of trying to get that to work. The players, as soon as they misplace a pass, they're losing it. Old habits come in.
Got to go, 5 away games, including Yeovil, 3 home. We're gonna have to get some wins away from home.
Thankfully, Devon Day was a huge success. Torquay beat Hampton Richmond 1-0 in front of a crowd full of Torquay and, of course, Exeter and Plymouth fans.
I think it was our best performance of the season in a lot of ways, not in terms of lots of goals and lots of chances and lots of free-flowing football, but there was just a lot of things there that, as a supporter, I think you value, which has been missed a lot of the season. There was the fight, there was the passion, they scrapped for every ball. And we made a good start. We were on the front foot. We got into them early. We had a lot of possession. We didn't create lots of chances. We didn't really. But there was just, and I don't, again, as Dom's, as we talk about in the second one, but those first 5 players, those experienced 5, Halstead, Mox, Asa, Dawson and Lapsey, I can't think they've started a game this season. They can't have done Dawson's injury. And they just gave that leadership, as you mentioned, some that vocal kind of quality to how we were able to play. And
fans there at Playmore, over 3,000. Many of came from Exeter and Plymouth to watch. And again, thank you to all those who did come and support the club. It was good to see the club shop was really busy. Boots and Laces was packed. So a good day for the club there, taking the income in there. It was to be a very important Easter weekend for the Goals as Torquay headed to table-topping Yeovil before a seaside clash at home to Weston-super-Mare. The weekend would turn out to be a nightmare.
Yeovil and Weston-super-Mare, not a successful bank holiday weekend at all. And Torquay have actually been really good at bank holidays in the last few years. The last 2 or 3 seasons, I think we've been really successful. And it's always been a time when we've managed to vaguely keep on track. But wow, I am so annoyed about that Weston-super-Mare game, especially. That really hurt the way we kind of just laid down for them in the second half.
We can see why they're going to win this division. They're well structured. They're well set up. They've got threats everywhere. But it's just disappointing that we didn't see a reaction in the second half.
I just really, in any workplace, it's disgusting, the mentality. I don't care because it's been happening for a couple of years before what's going on now. These are players that should be fighting for their futures, our football club, at any standards, And it's just the mentality. If they think this is a Torquay problem, which it sometimes seems to be, because look at players seem to do better and not with us, but it's unacceptable. Some of them just need to stand up. I hate I don't like the phrase "man up" or anything like that, but it just needs to grow up. They just need to mature and just not. And this is what happens when the whole football club is a blame culture, from the owner to the CEO to the manager at the time, Gary Johnson, to everywhere. It's always someone else's fault. Of things we'll talk about in the second episode, it's always someone else's fault. It's no accountability in this whole football club. And this is why we're now years and years and years of repair to even be grateful to have a football club when the news comes through on Thursday and Friday, whatever that's going to be.
But I think it's important to recognise the situation that we're in, the reason why we're in this situation. And ultimately, it's just important that we have a football club in Torquay to support going forward over the summer into next season and for generations to come after that. It's just been so mismanaged and misguided for a long, long time. This football club needs complete change from top to bottom, and whatever consortium that hopefully takes over, I do hope they have the best interest for the football club. I'm a big believer in fan ownership, or at least having fan ownership on side running the football club. I look at Exeter City and just think, wow, they've you see what they've done since going fan owned, and it's just incredible that they're in League One, they're profitable and they're sustainable.
Despite the desperate need for a reaction, Torquay went into 4 consecutive away games and started in a worst possible way. Another ridiculous red card by Ross Marshall saw us lose 1-0 at Welling. It's not even malicious, it's just a lack of talent. Lots of emotions at full time, some clapped, some had a go, frustration amongst the fan base, of course. Some of the teams seem to already be on their holidays. We're in a relegation battle and a few seem up for a fight. They're sleepwalking. And it's not good enough. However, we then faced an away trip to Truro, which was huge. This also saw the return of the Goals I View watch along.
You kind of you
can't be happy following this team.
You're just patching up the holes, aren't you?
I don't. What a goal! What a strike! That's what we needed. Well done.
Do you believe it?
What a strike!
Beauty. Bounce.
I really like Archer. I really want to keep him next season.
He's got potential to be a good
player. He's a technical footballer. Loads of players I want in my team. You need to improve, as you said last week, you need to improve his outlet. But
work on his off the ball move.
He's a trained technical footballer, and that's what I want. But he's also got a bit of hustle and bustle about him as well.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, he's a hard worker as well.
I want to go down the leagues and find players like that.
Well, not literally down the leagues. Down the leagues. Go on. Yeah, he's quick feet as well. We haven't got players like that.
He looks like a footballer. I know that sounds a really stupid thing, but if you watch Torquay last few years, we were getting the ball, working across. Football is such an easy sport. If you get the ball, pass the ball, and have movement off the ball, you don't have to be incredible players to do that.
What?
Players look better when they've got white ankle tape on. I'm telling you. They look better players. They used to have it in the 2000s. When I used to play me old FIFA back in the day, I have to make all my players have white ankle tape on it. It looks so much better. Yeah. Look how much of a better player Archer looks with that on. It gives them powers.
But Yes.
Baldino. Yay! Ash! That's my man. Getting in there.
Come on, in the 6-yard.
Striker. Come on. What football. Beautiful football. That's the football we've needed all season. You know, we win this and then we receive good news in the next week. Everything changes again.
Yeah, life starts looking a bit rosier, doesn't it, mate? Yeah,
There
you
it
go.
is.
They've been knocking for a goal this half. They probably deserved one.
The win is all we needed. I thought second half we're a little bit slack, a little bit tired.
Maybe away to Bath. I don't think we fancy our chances, which makes this game really important, I think.
I'm sorry, but I don't fear teams. It's just about what Torquay do.
Yeah, but we'll probably lose it. That's the trouble.
In this division, a lot of teams can say that, but it just need to go and do our job, and we can get a result anywhere. Yeah. Really, we are 5 points above the relegation zone.
Yeah,
I want a 3 or 4 point buffer though.
We'll know more by the weekend, won't we? Depend on the results.
Our joy was to be short-lived, as Torquay had another point taken away for them, this time from an administrative error. The Goals suffered another defeat on their travels, a 1-0 defeat away at Bath. This result meant that the Goals went into the final week of the season facing a do-or-die clash away at Taunton Town, with this arguably being one of the biggest games in the club's 125-year existence. The Goals IView team posted an open message to the players and management voicing their concern ahead of a must-win encounter.
Were we, God forbid, to lose our last 2 games, we would have lost nigh on half.
Yeah.
If there's a prospective,
extraordinary.
If there's a prospective owner or anyone, and if they're a successful businessman, they will look at the whole playing staff, the whole players, the whole staff, everything. Get rid and just failing, underperforming. You don't have these sort of people. As Tom said before we went on, we reward failure all the time. We don't have an official secretary on our website, and we've lost a point. This is a professional football club, and you're making mistakes like that. It is honestly, and then those people are still carrying on with our football club. I do not understand why this continues to happen with our football club, and how these people have been rewarded and got away with it. There's an absolute loser, no accountability from every single individual I seem to see, and most of them at least. All through the squad, you know, Ross Marshall fighting with fans half the time. Alstead even clashing with the fans half the time. After we tried to stick with you and you've underperformed for 3 years on a decent first team wage. I mean, for God's sake, what on earth are all of these people? I have never been so ashamed of a Torquay United squad in my life. And I've seen some piss poor Torquay teams in the last 10 years. And I've never been as ashamed as all of them, honestly. But it can all change. As I've said many, many times, if you have any minerals or talent about you, you'll go and win at Taunton on Tuesday night and get this thing done. And we can all forget it and you can all sod off and then we can all start again. 20 years ago, we got promoted to League One. You are in a squad that is going to get relegated to seventh tier of football. It is utterly embarrassing. And we have no sympathy from anyone because you've been pathetic all season. Yeah.
And for those of you who are going to walk away when there's a little bit of flack, I'm sorry, but you're at the wrong football club and you never get.
You're in the wrong sport.
You're in the wrong sport.
You're in the wrong.
I love Torquay United. Torquay United is my life. I probably dedicate too much to Torquay United for my own goodwill. But you know what? I will be there whether in the National League South, Southern Prem, National League Football League. I'll be there until I'm dead and gone. If you have anything about you Torquay players, this is the message I have. Go out there on Tuesday and show the fans you have pride about our football club and that you have the club's best interest at heart. Come on, you Goals.
Finally, more than anything, if Downside's put this on in the dressing room, can you all like and subscribe? Thank you. Thankfully, the players did their job. A 2-1 win at Taunton saw the club clinch their survival on the pitch. Did it Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone, the coaching staff and the players. Obviously, as everyone knows, it's not the biggest achievement before the season started of staying up on the banner and stuff. We all know that, but we're going to enjoy it. The players were very professional and they have done the job.
We need players who can play Saturday and Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
We can't be having these people like
I want a whole new start.
Who play Saturday, then get injured on Tuesday, then miss Saturday. We've got to have people who
leave a lot of these lads to go out on a high as well.
But then I think what comes under that as well is whether we are a full-time football club next season. There's going to be a lot of questions that are going to need to be answered over the summer. One of which will be, are we going to go full? Are we staying full-time? Are we going hybrid? Are we going proper part-time? And that will dictate, I guess, the budget and the type of players we can attract next season.
If we get the club, if it's very last minute, players will still, if we're set up right, players will come to Torquay in the National League South. That's not a problem. But
much might depend on who our coach is, of course.
Exactly,
So that could have an influence. But it's getting a full-time squad together that you can build on. They don't have to be world beaters to start with, but getting good guys
good guys, technical
good
players,
guys at the top of the club who can make the right decisions on the football inside and get
a few loans in as well.
Sowing the seeds for a club we can be proud of again.
The Gulls ended the season with a 5-0 thrashing at home to Havant in front of over 3,000 fans at Plainmoor. Dean Moxey won Player of the Season, and Paul Mulhern gave probably the best commentary ever heard from the radio booth at Torquay United Football Club.
You're back on this fan base because they're the ones that keep this club going, and they're the ones that mean most to anything here. It's where strangers become acquaintances become friends, and in some cases friends becomes family. And in my opinion, the fact that they've been kept at too far an arm's length for the last few years needs to change, and it needs to change quickly. I don't care who takes over, but you never forget that when you've got 3,000 plus coming to a dead rubber at the end of the National League South season, you have got an asset that no other club at this level has got, and whoever takes over, please never forget that. Involve the fans and be honest with them, because they have shown time and time again that when the going gets tough, they turn up, and they don't just turn up, but they turn up in bigger numbers. 680 go to Yeovil, terrible display, 3-0 defeat. 712 go to Bath and watch an abject performance. What do? They go home and they sell out their away allocation to Taunton. Never let these fans down again, whoever takes over.
In the background, off the pitch, there still hadn't been a result. The fans' preferred bid had fallen through to a mystery bidder. However, a month later, that all changed. The Bryn Consortium had agreed a deal. The club's future looked to be saved. And this would be the start of something very special for the future of Torquay United Football Club.
Backed by Neil Warnock, the Bryn Consortium made their first official act, subject to takeover completion, by hiring new first-team manager Paul Watton from Truro City.
For the first time in years, the immense pride of the whole football club. We've literally, I hate to say it, I'm like, one of them, but we've got our club back. It is literally like that. We've got our football club back. We've got people who care about the community, getting this special community back on its feet. It's going to be a long, long journey, but oh my God, we're in for some fun. It really feels like we're in some fun. Already, I'm loving it. Already, I was just talking to my dad, actually. We've also gone to Torquay together for years, and he said, I just didn't think I'd see this in my lifetime. And to be fair, I mean, look, we're still in the 6th tier. Maxwell and Barrett starting in the 9th tier when they went through this, and they both lost in the playoffs, unfortunately, for them this year. So they were already, even though we're a step behind, we're miles away back from the Football League. Yeah, but we're a lot closer than we could have been. And we've got to thank Westcott, we've got to thank all the consortium, we've got to thank the Supporters Trust, we've got to thank, Ozzy Warnock coming in to help. I'm so excited. I am so excited for the season. I'm so excited for pre-season.
As a football club, it was grim times, wasn't it? We had nobody to believe in at the club. Where were we going? Then we started to find hope last few months, and we realised that people were interested in the club, and it wasn't just people, it was real supporters.
You want just asset people.
Real supporters who care about the club.
I think it almost feels like kind of the best is yet to come, isn't it, in terms of just the feel of the place as much as anything. One thing that struck me from all the things that Watton said was that, you can't guarantee the best players or the best results or whatever, but he said every team that goes on that pitch will understand what it means. And every player that pulls on that shirt will understand what it means to wear that shirt and will give their everything. And I think from a supporter perspective, that's all you ever want. If results come and the players are good enough, great. But that's not. It just feels like he watched our videos and anything really, isn't it, Tom? Like, because
what
Get
he
him
was on
on.
about this morning on radio. Honestly, what was on about radio just says what we all want: the hard working bit, but also we've got technical players to win the game. Also talking about emotional intelligence of players and how to get the best out. The modern day manager, which is why these new coaches succeed and why the older coaches struggle if they don't adapt, as well
Gary
as
Johnson.
this. Yeah. Oh, we'll say one thing actually. We'll say one thing on here. We'll say credit to Aaron Downsell's departed.
Absolutely,
for
yeah.
the job he did
Yeah.
and the bloke he has been since he came into our football club as a player under Marston Lee.
It's just crazy what's transpired at this football club. I think I can honestly say it's the first time in a long time that I can actually say to people that I'm proud to be a Torquay United fan once again.
Yeah, win
the negativity and the people running the club in the past have gone. They were only in it for themselves. They obviously weren't there for the fans or the football club's best interests. And we've now got a club that's going to be run by, supporters who have the club at heart, like we all do. And already the sounds coming out of the club, getting, Playmore painted up and spruced up a bit. I mean, that ground's been needing some renovation, for years, like just walking past it. It's just dilapidated out on the outside, and it just needs a bit of TLC, and that's what we're going to get under a new ownership. And I'm so glad it's under this new consortium, and hopefully the trust will be able to get involved in some way. It's got to become a proper fans club, and I know I've been an advocate for fan ownership for ages now, but it's just great. And then just to have someone like Neil Warnock, and in the back room as well, like amazing. It's mental.
And finally, one big thing I'm going to do, I want you all to wave in a minute, because I like to say a big goodbye to all the people that made us feel so miserable and frankly completely failed as football club and supporters. And we will say that they will never ever deserve to be brought up in that mouse in this goals eye view ever again in Torquay club history. Goodbye. We won. See you in season 4. This would lead into a memorable summer for Torquay fans. After having owners which just neglected and didn't talk to us, we had the exact opposite. With our very own co-chairman joining us on Goals Eye View to discuss the vision for the club and what the fans can expect. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Torquaytalk, a very special episode because we've got 2 very special guests, Michael and Mark. Thank you for joining us this week.
Pleasure.
Great to be here.
Sort of upbringing with Torquay United, going from sort of a fan and then to being a chairman, and what's that like?
Well, it's been quite the journey, but like many of us, kind of felt like I've grown up on the terraces of Torquay. My granddad used to bring me, and we used to stand in the enclosure under what was the old grandstand, now Bristow's. And my dad worked at Frank Mann, the grocer wholesaler, and used to bring a vegetable box for me to stand on, and used to stand between the two dugouts. And as you grow up, I kind of moved over to the pop side, and then I became a teenager. I stood in a mini stand. So I've done the whole sort of tour of the ground through the years. And kind of Torquay, and I felt like it's been in my blood. I used to get taken to Torquay because Dad was the stadium announcer, worked with Pete Wiley up in the box for must have been 15, 20 years, as long as I can remember growing up. I left the Bay, sort of, my first job, obviously you probably know this, was at the Herald Express, and so often worked at Playmore as well, doing the, Dave Thomas used to do the football stuff, and I used to do the non-football stuff, particularly when we had big games, not least the famous Bryn game, Crewe Alexandria in 1987. And I remember working late into the night, getting the paper ready for Monday. People in Hong Kong thought I was crazy where I was living, but we used to fly home for big games.
Wow.
And would take a Friday night flight, land at crack of dawn Saturday, pack it down to Playmore, then get back to Heathrow for the evening flight, and then back. So I would leave work on Friday, turn up for work on Monday morning, having been to Playmore and back for some of the big games and
That's
the old
amazing.
Wembley final, etc.
And going into Mark, same with you. What's your?
Yeah, so basically we moved down to the southwest in 1983, and I think the first game that I went was in the Poplar Stand in '85, where we played Exeter. My real love for Torquay came in '87, I think it was, where we played Tottenham, and we got the 1-0 at Playmore. And then since then, all my nephews are season ticket holders at Torquay United. I've spent times not being thrown out, but in the family stand and going in the goals nest, having a lot of beer in there and watching the games. And then second half, looking through the window on the second half, hoping Torquay would score and get a late goal. Done a few away games. It's been good fun. Just can't believe the amount of fans that go away on the away games.
Yeah.
Been to all the playoff finals, so much disappointment, but then I'm an England supporter as well. So, you know, our first goal for me and Michael was to stop the leaking of money out the club. The second goal was to be competitive on the pitch. And then, obviously, as we said in our chairman's meetings, is to make it fun and make it a nice place to come on a Saturday. And I think we can accomplish all those goals. I don't think we need to sacrifice success. The club's here now, and I know we've come a long way, but I want this club in the Football League. It's not a National League South club. It has to be in the Vanarama Premier. That's got to be our goal. And we know there's a lot of work to do. You know, we started off with 1 or 2 players start of the season, and we've got a lot of work to do. But yeah, all I can say to everybody, we'll get for me and Michael and the Brink Consortium our utmost, you know, enthusiasm and help. We've come a long way already, as you can see.
Yes, amazing the transition already.
You know, there were days when we bid and we weren't quite the preferred bidder, and I'm at home sort of thinking, how comes we're not the preferred bidder?
Yeah, and that was a weird time, that.
Yeah, and we're thinking, but it's great news because we put in an excellent bid, and if we've lost, somebody's put in an incredible bid. And then when we found out the door was still open, obviously we were able to get it over the line quite quickly then. But yeah, we are, all the members of the consortium as well are winners in different ways, and we don't like losing. So hopefully we're going to see that with the success in the club over the next, you know, few years. Me and Michael never knew each other before. We got it. We got together within an hour. We said, let's do this. We sort of tentatively put some idea about, you know, how much money we were going to put into it. The most alarming thing I think about the club, from my point of view, apart from the leakage of money, which is well documented, was the amount of work that would be needed to be done for this football club and how far it had fallen. We realised often on the field how much work needed, and indeed Michael will probably tell you that when we spoke to the staff, how much work needed to be done in terms of giving them the momentum to move forward.
So Mark's painted some pictures how he and I got together, but it has to be said there's quite a lot of people that were networking behind the scenes that brought the 6 of us ultimately together. The Trust, Mark mentioned it, but the Supporters Trust has played a key role here. Because there were plenty of offers of money to us, but we didn't want just to take money. We wanted to take, we wanted people participating in this project that had the club in its heart. And that was really key. The mix of skills that people could bringing money to the table is one thing. That wasn't the problem or the issue for us. The issue was what we wanted was people where we were completely aligned philosophically. That we understand what it's like to be a Torquay fan, and had always the best interests and the long-term interests of the club at heart.
With clear communication from our new owners, a raft of promising signings, matched by fantastic announcement videos and brilliant volunteer work from the fans, Trust and local communities around the club, we at Torquaytalk kept ourselves busy by chatting with some fantastic guests on Goals Eye View to tell their story for your enjoyment.
But the thing that's, you know, having won, and I was so excited and did an interview with Radio Devon and all of that, went back to the hotel, had no expectation of seeing the team because they want to get back to Devon and all the rest of it. But actually, unbeknown to me, they'd stopped at the hotel we were staying in, and they came in with the trophy and their medals. And honestly, it was so emotional. Tears, just all of that. And
we were playing, I think it was Burton at the time, and Wayne Carlisle was playing on the right hand side with me, and him and John McGrath were going at it. Obviously, we had the result that we needed to go through. Wayne was just absolutely skived him down. So it's a free kick. And I'm saying to John, I said, listen, John, game's nearly done. We're in the playoffs. You guys are already up. Just play it short. Let's just and Wayno out the show, he went, you won't put it in the mixture, shitbag. I was like, and as soon as, so I'm in the ball with Wayno, and Wayno's still chirping at him, and I'm going, when you just know you've already teed us up for failure here? Because you can just sense it's going to happen. Just some big back, just head it in the back of the net. You're like, oh my God, it might have been Dingle, Mark Ellis, that ends up getting a header and heads it away. And I was like, and he blew up straight after. I said to Wayne, I went, see, told you, shitbag.
We've been married 15 years next month, and every time she's opened our fridge, most of that time,
we made
just
sure
to the right of where the handle is in our fridge there.
He's been waiting.
That year they did the magnets. You're on there, Silsy's on there, Nick.
I was at Bath, so whenever that was at the penultimate weekend.
Lost 1-0.
I know Charlie Baker a little bit. My son Charlie has met Charlie a few times, and when we 1-0 down and we were never going to score in the final 15 minutes, Charlie came up to my Charlie and said, "You realise this is as bad as it's ever going to get. This is it. You are here witnessing the low point in our history."
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I said to him, Chaz, I appreciate the sentiments. I said, you don't believe that. And he said, no, do you know what? I kind of do. And know me, if he hadn't been proved absolutely correct, because obviously we won the games from then on in to stay up. And then everything has snowballed off the pitch. That was the low point.
I was going to say, was there any point where people were looking, going, "Oh, that's going to be a new key player"?
There was a lot. I think, especially when we got the first batch out, first out, I think sort of people cottoned onto it a bit.
Yeah, it's a small place, isn't it? Actually, everyone knows everyone in Torquay, don't they?
Was it hard to keep it to yourself as well?
Yeah, again, one of my best mates is a Torquay fan, so he's like, "Oh, who's signing off, mate? I can't tell you."
Needed. So, we've had a cancelled season, a playoff win, a relegation dogfight, a relegation, and now who knows? Mark thinks a championship season, but
it's going to be an interesting one.
I've got to have a good season this year. Otherwise, I'm a man under pressure.
You're gonna sack yourself. Yeah.
I was going to say, can that happen? I mean, you'll leave when you want to leave, won't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I couldn't roadblock like common sense, if that makes sense. Like, of course, if I knew that the level of investment and performance, there's a massive disparity, I just couldn't sit there and go, I'm the manager.
Alas, we had a recruitment policy that just matched the ethos of the football club. A lot of them based in the southwest as well. Everything the fans have been crying out for were being matched. But now it was a start. It was a start of when it mattered. The Enfield Town game was a monumental moment and day in our club history. It was an absolutely beautiful occasion for fans of the football club. Had our club back, and it was time to kick on. It started in the most Torquay way possible, going 1-0 down. But we came back to win 2-1, and it was just an absolute magnificent day all around. We ended up getting 3 wins from 4. We had 1 contracted player in the summer, and then this brand new team had 9 points from 4 games. It just cannot be underestimated how much of an achievement this had been for the football club. Recover momentum off the pitch, as we said all throughout the year, you would build momentum onto the pitch. Things would get better for the community as well. The community share issue had been launched, and we did our first live Gold's Eye View. We were joined and given updates from the Torquay United Travel Club, the Torquay United Supporters Trust, and then we're even joined by our own manager, Paul Watson.
Having minibuses probably once every couple of weeks, to now we've had 4 coaches. We're looking at our 5th coach on Saturday.
Did George never join you?
No, unfortunately not. I don't think he'd have wanted to. But it's been a really good start in terms of some of the results we've been having, but also a really good start in terms of the support we've had. Coaches have been near enough full every week. Everybody's really positive coming on. And it's just really nice to be on a coach full of Torquay United supporters.
I think what worried me at the outset of the share issue was that with the Brink Consortium coming in and investing all their money, that maybe everybody thought the club was saved.
Yeah.
And certainly, yes, they did save the club, undoubtedly, but it's not just about the initial cost, it's about making sure there's enough cash flow to be able to fund the club moving forward. And certainly, I know that the Bryn Consortium had built into their model that we would raise a certain amount of money, which we've hit that and gone well beyond that, which is fantastic. So everything now is a bonus over and above what they were anticipating. So in terms of what the extra money will be used for, maybe it could be for some loan signings, it could be for other infrastructure around the club, I don't know. But that will all be agreed, amongst the board, of which we'll have 2 seats on the board.
I've got an August birthday, so I left school. When I left school in the May, I was 15. So when I was an apprentice at Argo, I was 15. Could you start in July? So you have a 6-week pre-season, and every day for 6 weeks, the youth team got in a minibus, got driven down to Neil's house in Cornwall, and we dug out his trout pond. And I swear. So every day, and then you go back and you shoveled as well. It was grass.
Would he feed you or something?
No chance. I said about it on the bus the other day because he was talking. What game was it? Cheshire. So he was coming back on the bus, and him and Hammy were talking. Jake Taylor, they're talking about fishing and all that sort of thing. That Hammy was like banging to it, and I said about digging out, and he said, I called him the gaffer. He went. He said, what? He said, you got a drink? I said, Gaffer, I said, I think you gave us a glass of cordial after about 3 weeks. Honestly.
Despite an embarrassing defeat in the FA Cup to Bishop's Cleeve, Torquay United's league season had started well. After 10 games, the Goals had won 6, drawn 2 and lost 2. We were joined by Paul Mahern for a special episode in Boots and Laces with co-chairman Michael Westcott to discuss the Goals' start to the season.
For loads of reasons that you probably all understand, Enfield was an extraordinary game. And going behind after 2 minutes wasn't part of the plan. I remember looking at Mark Bo's camera going, oh my god,
so talking
this wasn't part of the script, like, what do we do now? And you see your life flash in front of your eyes thinking, what if we lose? Like, get hammered, like, can we get hammered here? It's like, oh my god, have we picked the right manager, or is he like what the hell? And I have to say, when that second goal went in, and then I don't need to paint some pictures of you, but all 6 of us were still staggering around Torquay Harbour side about 5 in the morning. I find watching Torquay now watching the games really hard, because I'm churning inside, because I'm desperate for us to win.
All of the club. Did you run about your back garden with your shirt over your head celebrating? The fans need to know this.
Yeah. Look, you do know that we obviously put in an initial bid with. We got rejected, and that was a weird feeling, because I thought, well, great. That means that there must be some sugar daddy type that's, And then I got literally in the reception, got a tap on the shoulder, and it's the administrator and the lawyer saying, "Can we have a word?" And bundled me into the room and said, Can you come back to the table, because we're nowhere with whoever it was. And my first reaction was fury, as in, what the hell have you been doing for the last 4 weeks? Mm-hmm. We are now 3 weeks post-season, and you're nowhere. And what the hell? But in answer to your question, when I did get the call from the lawyers of the administrator to say it's the cover. And then got everyone on a WhatsApp group call, because we had a WhatsApp group, and called them all, and some of them were in meetings and on the road and everything else, and I said, we've got it. And yeah, that was a good moment.
I'm sorry, I'm going to say thank you again, Michael. You deserve every bit of thanks and every bit of goodwill that you've had going.
I'm going to do a fangirl here and thank you, Michael, so much for the words do not convey and say how important and how wonderful, and the job that you've done for this club is just incredible. So thank you.
There will be a few frustrating results for Torquay United and some very poor refereeing decisions. For Goals I View, it was still business as usual. We recorded some fantastic National League South review episodes with Harry and Darren on It's All Gone South podcast. We're going to interview Harry Salvage and Paul Mahern on their Goals I View to learn more about their journeys, as well as the amazing Helen Chamberlain, who told us fantastic story after fantastic story.
I mean, Torquay are very obviously back, aren't they? And Helen's back, and it's brilliant.
Michael and I went and sat outside, and I think within 3 minutes he'd said the F word 4 times. He'd maybe dropped the C bomb once or something, and I thought, I really like this bloke. I really like this guy. He was so excited. You could see he was trying to keep his business head together. Well, of course we've got to make sure we run the club properly and all this. And then there was another side of him just going. Yeah. You could see it coming out of his pores. Just this childlike excitement. And then he got Mark over to say hello, and Mark was the same, and just it was the three of us just sat round kind of breathlessly giggling about, and he said we physically get the keys next Friday. And I remember messaging him and said, can you imagine that just for a second, the four of it, can you imagine going to the solicitor's office, whatever, and them saying, there you go.
Yeah.
There are the keys.
Good luck.
Torquay United.
Yeah. There was further success as the Torquay United Supporters Trust secured a significant shareholding into the football club with a community share issue where over 519 investors invested their money into the club. A final total of over £222,000 was raised, with all of this being used in its entirety to buy shares in Torquay United Football Club, with all of the costs associated with running the share issue and collecting the investment sums being met from existing Torquay United Supporters Trust funds. This, together with the £50,000 that had previously been invested from the TUS Forever Yellow Fund, means that the TUS invested a total of £272,501, in which they secured a 28.6% shareholding of the football club and secured 2 places on the board forever.
This was a monumental day for Torquay United and the future of Torquay United. The TUS had done so much amazing work for the football club for years now, and to have such a big part in the club's future was just another incredible moment in Torquay United's year. The TUS were no longer being ignored. They were a huge part of the present and the future of our football club. We really were living in dreamland. Of course, so much hard work to do off the pitch, so much hard work to do on the pitch, but it was all starting to really come together.
Nice to see you all. Thanks for having me on. It's been amazing. I mean, it's what we've raised with online and offline payments, over £222,000. I think is a testament to goals fans. It's, TUS has organised it, but it's the Yellow Army that have done that.
Yeah. And we said it when we were at the club the other week, that if you'd have said kind of the day you went to administration, picture the perfect future, tell me what it looks like.
I mean, Bob said this the other night, didn't we? We were saying the other night, we'd have kind of pictured this local businessman, fans, people that care, successful businessmen, fans involvement, ownership. And you wouldn't have thought, you'd have thought, well, all right, still steady on. You weren't going to get that, but it couldn't, and who knows, the success on the pitch is what needs to follow next, isn't it? But, as they've talked about, a sustainable club is the start, and then what happens on the pitch has to follow. The 2 seats on the board secured, Nick Broderick, the chairman of the TUS, and Danny Wyatt were elected to join the board, which was great timing because we had already booked Danny Wyatt to join us the following week. She helped to deliver another fantastic episode of the Goals I View.
For supporters in my generation who, after the survey was done, there aren't enough of. So where are they? Because we want them back at the club, and we want them back coming to games and stuff and getting behind us. So they're out there. It's inspiring them to come back, and generations change, and people want different things from football clubs, and I think that's important to note. So yeah, I wouldn't say the board's missing anything, because I think they're all wonderful, and I think we're so lucky to have them, and the way things have changed. But I think I can just add to it.
Torquay beat Truro 1-0 in the FA Trophy, where an improved second half performance led Swanee to claim that this was a change point in our season. But what does he know? This is a man who bases the majority of his football knowledge on his football manager saves.
Make this tactical switch. Well done, Pawson. I love a manager who is dynamic. and won't just sit there, and he will change things, and that's great.
Yeah, and you told him, Swanee. Get him told.
Embarrassing. Sorry, I have no qualifications. I shouldn't be saying. I mean, I'm very good at Football Manager. So I went to the 4-3-3, and for me, everything just seemed a bit easier. All right. I agree totally with what Paul Watson says in his press conference today. It's about foundations of football. You know, it's about, it doesn't matter what formation you're playing a lot of the time, if you're doing the basics, are you or not? And I totally agree. But to a certain degree, at times, I look at this team, where we are now, and I think a fullback where you can just make it a little bit easier to sort of build your triangles and all various bits like that. It just looked a little bit more comfortable. I felt actually defensively we looked stronger as well. As you said, Dyer in that left centre back. Oh, he's incredible. He is such a good player. It just felt like they knew who they're marking, even more so. I think at times in the 3-back, maybe you can get a little bit stretched. I'm not a tactical genius. I don't know. But I think with a 4-back, it's a little bit easier at times, depending on who you're playing. For the rest of the calendar year, though, Torquay would replicate the success of my Torquay United Football Manager series this year. Helped by a couple new signings, helped by the fantastic coaching by our management team, helped by the ever-improving and gelling squad, Torquay would stay unbeaten and would rise to the top of the league. An incredible, incredible way to end the calendar year of 2024. It's going to be a fight for the rest of the season, but we're going to enjoy it every minute. A year which started horribly, a year which had so much doubt, a year for so much frustration and worry, ended up with just the dream. We're top of the league, we have our football club back, and the club is going from strength to strength. From all of us at Torquaytalk, we'd like to thank you for watching this, for watching and supporting this throughout the year. In some ways, from my point of view, it kind of feels like our job has been done. We'll continue, of course, bringing you the content we do, but 2024 is the year we all came together. 2024 was the year that we all thrived and represented this amazing football club in one way or another. I'd like to say thank you, wish you a happy new year from all of us at Torquaytalk, and we'll see you in 2025. Come on, you yellows. And enjoy a few outtakes for when it didn't quite go to plan or to script.
Should get Hugh Edwards in for this.
Oh, give us a minute. God. We'll start the game. Clive, run us through.
Bit like my love life, really. It was all over in the first 7 minutes.
Thanks.
First game, first goal was an absolute beauty. The Moose with a first-time volleyed pass from the centre circle, and our very own Will Jenkins-Davis gets in on goal.
But yeah, and
you keep moving, and the sun keeps moving.
I know it's following me. I swear it is.
You won't be seeing Chris, you'll be missing out on Chris getting blinded, and then
Chris's face just reminds me that people can listen on Spotify.
Yeah.
In Torquay circles, you sort of talk about 2 points a game being. Oh, hello. Is Clive joining us?
What?
Hello.
Hello.
I thought we said tomorrow, Clive.
You weren't expecting me, were you? I
No.
was expecting to see Paul Merlin here. Is that supposed to be tomorrow then?
That's tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, right. I'll bugger off and watch football. Have fun, guys.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice to see you, Clive.
Enjoy. Right. Bye then. What we'd like
Really.
now, Helen, is all the stuff that's not fit to print, please. You can dish the dirt. Nobody's watching.
We've only got 630 subscribers. It's fine.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
Not gonna, they're not going to watch.
Like a paedophile's funeral, isn't it?
Five.
That was on the thick of it. I always use that.
Oh, I love the thick of it. Yeah.